Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up before the video starts. Bold and the Beautiful has Thomas Forrester becoming perturbed with Paris Buckingham this week because she doesn't know when to stop on the CBS soap. Now that this bride-to-be has found an ally in her future sister-in-law, Thomas is about to hear it twofold, and he's not having it. Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, still wrestles with his feelings for Hope Logan and Nika Noel. He played a rather cruel lesson on her with a third, but fake, proposal this week. Still, some Bold and the Beautiful fans aren't convinced just how fake it was. Many think he would have jumped if she said yes. Paris Buckingham, Diamond White, doesn't know about Thomas toying with his ex via that fake marriage proposal. Instead, this soon-to-be bride sees the Logan daughter throwing herself at Thomas Forrester. Paris catches her future sister-in-law's ear, and she points out that her rival won't believe he moved on from her. Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline Massins Wood, intently listens to her thoughts about the Logan daughter's behavior, and she jumps at the chance to add her 2 cents in. So the future Mrs. Forrester now has an ally against her rival. Thomas Forrester kicked in to lightly defend his ex a few times recently when Paris Buckingham became snarky about her behavior. This week, she told her future husband that Hope seemed to like playing the victim, and he cut her off. He told Paris his ex struggles with processing all this, but she will come around. Then the floodgates opened when Paris Buckingham shared her critique of Hope Logan with Steffy. The two immediately found their opinions of Hope a common ground on Bold and the Beautiful this week. Smiles appeared on both their faces as they bonded over their thoughts on Thomas' ex. But this didn't sit well with Thomas, who tried to shut them up. He didn't seem to want to hear a Hope-bashing session. Still, it didn't stop his future wife and sister, who cackled about their observations of Hope, trying to reel Thomas back in. Thomas Forrester wasn't too happy about Paris Buckingham and his sister condemning the woman he still loves. And while he admits he still loves her in one way, his tune today is that he fell in love with Paris. During the Bold and the Beautiful episodes this week, Thomas interrupted Paris Buckingham a few times when she started on a tangent about his ex. Plus, she also had the nerve to suggest to Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, that her daughter won't let go. Bold and Beautiful fans suggest Paris Buckingham seems a bit snarky with her words about the Logan daughter, so Thomas likely won't put up with this much longer. B&B spoilers have the pending bride starting to worry soon. Despite thinking he's a one-woman man, and she's that woman, Paris may end up second-guessing herself. Clues drop suggesting that Thomas Forrester soon gets his fill of Paris bashing Hope, and he'll bite back at her. But this time it looks like he bites back harder than before, making her desperate to hold on to him. So, in the upcoming episodes of B&B, it looks like Thomas Forrester gets tired of Paris Buckingham's snarky comments about his ex. But on the other hand, his attitude of protecting Hope worries Paris. Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest the blushing bride joins forces with Steffy to put the Logan daughter in her place. But this is B&B, so that likely backfires. Thomas Forrester will see a side of Paris Buckingham he doesn't like. Maybe this even involves Douglas Forrester, Henry Joseph Samiri. This kid loves Paris, but Hope is his mom. So all Douglas has to do is hear his pending stepmother saying something to Steffy about Hope, and problems could surface. Thomas would not put up with anyone darkening Douglas' mom's name around his son. So between the bride-to-be getting desperate to hold on to her groom and Thomas Forrester picking up on Paris Buckingham's nastiness toward Hope, things could start to circle a drain on this CBS soap. In the opulent world of Forrester creations, drama was the order of the day. The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of the fashion house, casting a golden glow on the bustling activity inside. Seamstresses hurried to finish their pieces, designers fussed over sketches, and models strutted back and forth, rehearsing for the upcoming fashion show. But amidst the frenzy, a storm was brewing. Thomas Forrester stood at his desk, his eyes scanning the latest collection. His brow furrowed in concentration, but his thoughts were far from the fabrics and designs before him. Instead, his mind churned with frustration and anger towards Paris Buckingham. The betrayal he felt was a wound that cut deep, and it was time to address it. Paris, with her radiant smile and infectious charm, had been a rising star at Forrester Creations. She had won the hearts of everyone, especially Thomas's. But her recent actions had shattered the trust he had placed in her. She had sided with the competition, leaking designs and insider information. It was a move that threatened the very foundation of the Forrester legacy, and Thomas was determined to confront her. Thomas, a voice interrupted his thoughts. It was Hope Logan, her expression concerned. You look like you're about to explode. What's going on? Thomas glanced up, his jaw clenched. It's Paris. She's been leaking our designs to Spectra Fashions. Hope's eyes widened in shock. Are you sure? Paris wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure, Thomas replied, his voice cold. I have proof. She thought she could outsmart me, but she underestimated just how far I would go to protect this company. Hope nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of the situation. What are you going to do? Thomas's eyes darkened. I'm going to confront her, and then I'm going to make sure she never works in this industry again. The tension in the room was palpable as Hope watched Thomas's determined expression. She knew better than to try and dissuade him when he was this resolute. Later that afternoon, Thomas found Paris in the design studio, her back to him as she adjusted a dress on a mannequin. He approached her, his footsteps echoing in the large room. When she turned to face him, her smile faltered at the sight of his steely gaze. Thomas, hey, she greeted, her voice hesitant. Is everything okay? No, Paris, everything is not okay, he replied, his tone sharp. I know what you've been doing. Paris's eyes widened, and she took a step back. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me, Thomas snapped. You've been leaking our designs to Spectra. I have proof. Paris's face went pale. Thomas, I can explain. There's nothing to explain, he interrupted. You betrayed me, you betrayed this company, and you betrayed our trust. Her eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I needed the money. My family is in trouble, and Spectra offered me a lot. Thomas's expression softened slightly, but his resolve remained firm. You could have come to us, Paris. We would have helped you. Instead, you chose to betray us. Paris looked down, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I'm so sorry, Thomas. I don't know if sorry is enough, he said, his voice still hard. But I'm giving you one chance to make it right. Paris looked up, hope flickering in her eyes. What do you want me to do? Leave Forrester Creations and never look back, Thomas said. And if you ever try to sabotage us again, I'll make sure the entire fashion industry knows what you did. Paris nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. Thomas turned and walked away, his heart heavy. He had done what needed to be done, but it didn't make the betrayal hurt any less. As Paris gathered her things and left the building, the news of her departure spread quickly. The atmosphere at Forrester Creations was tense, with everyone on edge after learning about the betrayal. But Thomas knew they would bounce back. They always did. Days turned into weeks, and the scandal began to fade from the forefront of everyone's minds. Forrester Creations continued to thrive, their latest collection receiving rave reviews. Thomas focused on his work, pouring his energy into designing and creating. Yet the memory of Paris's betrayal lingered, a reminder of the fragility of trust. One evening, as Thomas was working late, he received a visitor. It was Zend Forrester, his cousin and fellow designer. Zendi had been away on a business trip and had just returned. I heard what happened, Zenda said, taking a seat across from Thomas. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Thomas nodded, his expression weary. It was a rough few weeks, but we got through it. Zenda leaned forward, his eyes intense. I've been thinking. We need to be more vigilant, more protective of our designs. We can't let something like this happen again. I agree, Thomas said. But how do we do that? I have an idea, Zenda replied, a hint of excitement in his voice. What if we implement a new security system? Something that tracks our designs and alerts us to any suspicious activity. Thomas considered it, nodding slowly. That could work. We need to protect our legacy, our family. Zenda smiled. Exactly. And together, we can make sure Forrester Creations stays at the top. As they discussed the details, a renewed sense of determination filled the room. Thomas realized that despite the setbacks and betrayals, they had the strength and resilience to overcome anything. The future of Forrester Creations was bright, and they would continue to shine, no matter the challenges they faced. In the end, Thomas knew that sometimes the people closest to you could cause the most harm. But it was also those same people who could help you heal and rebuild. And with his family by his side, he was ready to face whatever came next. And so, the drama at Forrester Creations continued, a testament to the bold and beautiful world of high fashion, where passion and betrayal often walked hand in hand. But through it all, the Forrester legacy endured, stronger and more determined than ever.